Morning, Chris. This week I'm interviewing you as Liam's having another holiday. Betting turnover around Australia has plummeted. We've got a big weekend of racing ahead, kicking off with our first Group 1 runner of the season in Foreteller in Melbourne, the Makybe Diva Stakes.
Yeah, he went down on Wednesday night, Haylie. He travelled down with Catkins, who's also running down there in a Group 2 race. Foreteller, I see as a very versatile horse, and Saturday will tell us where he's at for this preparation against those types of horses. And he's a horse I could easily bring back for a race like the Hill Stakes in 2 weeks' time, or even the Craven Plate in 4 weeks' time, which is something similar we did in the autumn when he won the Randwick after running 2 weeks prior in the Australian Cup in Melbourne. So pretty versatile horse. His first up run was terrific. Awkward gait, but he gets back anyway, and he's a versatile type.
And Catkins in the Let's Alike also at Flemington.
Yeah, she's just a really consistent mare. Won a couple of listed races already. She's always thereabouts. Another one with an awkward gait, and she's a horse that rolls forward, so it'll leave her exposed a long way up that long Flemington straight. That's my only concern, but certainly deserves a chance at Group 2 level.
Back home at Randwick from the top, we have Janoob in the tab.com.au handicap.
Janoob, we haven't quite worked out yet. I think he's still acclimatising and just needs a bit more loving, and just being just to get him to adapt and just get a bit of confidence. At this stage he's very unsure of himself and hasn't shown me anything, but occasionally these horses can lift on race day in their first preps, but normally he would have shown us something before now.
Okay, and we've got John Kissick, Liam's man, on board. He actually rode a winner yesterday at Canterbury.
Yeah, it was a great ride. 10 out of 10 ride, and he's a good boy. He's just been faultless since he's been here, and I think he'll do very well. Nice apprentice with 3 kilo claim.
Super. In the same race, we've also got Marden and Acapella, who's having her first crack over the 2,000 metres for us.
Yep, Marden's stepping back from the 2400 last week. I won't try him again. He doesn't stay, so it's not ideal coming back to 2,000 metres within 7 days, but we've simply tried to keep him as fresh as we can, and it's the right type of race for him, and a senior rider in Hugh Bowen goes back aboard. Acapella won last start after having a few unlucky runs prior to that. As you say, first go at 2,000 metres, but she deserves a chance at it, and I think she should get it okay with it. And now that she's fit and at sort of at the end of the preparation, it's a good time to try. Brenton Avdulla did a good job on her last start and seems to get on with these types of mares pretty well.
The next race over a mile, we've got two horses at different ends of the spectrum, Altered Boy and Photon Willie.
Yeah, Altered Boy's been a great horse to the stable, and we just need to hope that he can return to some of that old form. Probably a good track's going to be hard for him, but look, he's coming down in the weights with each unplaced run, so I'm hoping that he can just have a final twirl and really put in and see how he performs. And Photon Willie, he's a horse full of talent, and it looks like we're slowly getting it out of him, and he's racing more tractably. It's a step up, being a mile on Saturday, so fortunately he's got a good gait, Haylie, and that'll just help him switch off. And Glenn Schofield did a good job relaxing him last start, hopefully the same again on Saturday, and just time his run to perfection. He doesn't need to get there too early, he can just switch off over the concluding stages.
Okay, and then the next race 5, the Ming Dynasty Quality, we've got Villanova and Champagne Cath.
Villanova went good first up, probably a bit soft, and although it's only an extra 100 metres, Randwick's a different type of race in my opinion, and they seem to roll, and suits a hard seasoned horse, which I think he is now. He should run really well, and Champagne Cath, well, we all know she's been out of luck this preparation, 2 unplaced runs, and hasn't really had things go her way at all. So she's been back to the trials, had a confidence winning trial, and look, I don't think we'll see the best of her until the autumn. I think she must be just going through that stage that 3-year-old fillies often can. They're just not quite hardened, and when things go against them, they can quite often exaggerate it. So let's just see if she can be competitive on Saturday and just work out where we head from there.
In the tramway, 2 of our autumn stars in Royal Descent and Sacred Falls represent.
Look, both very nice horses. Sacred Falls, he's obviously a Doncaster winner, and he's come back in good shape. We've given him plenty of trials, and he's nice and fit now, so it's a nice race for him. He's got an awkward gait to probably get back, which is basically his racing style anyway, and he'll be attacking the line. Royal Descent, she's well on track for the Melbourne Carnival, and I just want to get her down for the Turnbull, which is early October, so she'll run this Saturday at 1400, and then a mile in 2 weeks' time, and then to the Turnbull, and then we'll decide where we head from there, whether it be a Cox Plate or Caulfield Cup. Caulfield Cup being the most likely option. But she's well. I guess my biggest concern is 1400 too short for her second up. So, look, she's got an awkward draw as well, and I just want to see her attacking the line, and she's up against the big boys as well as the older horses, so that's a new step, but it's all good for seasoning a horse and just gradually increasing the pressure. And obviously we've got Shootout there as well. He's drawn barrier 1, and like Sacred Falls, he's had 3 trials. He's taking a little bit longer to come up this preparation, but I'm happy with him now, and from a good gate he should get a nice run and hopefully be charging late as well.
And with Sacred Falls and Shootout both on 60.5 kilos, is that pretty tough on a younger colt like Sacred Falls?
Well, it might seem like it, but when you consider they're only about 3.5 kilos above the minimum weight, it's pretty good. In fact, I think very good. It's just a mindset that we've got 60 kilos. We think, gee, that's a lot of weight. But when you're considering they're only 3.5 kilos above the bottom weighted horse, they're both multiple group winners, it's not significant. Probably a horse like Royal Descent, she's only just turned 4 and is a mare. From memory, I think she's got about 2 kilos off the boys, so probably not as well suited as those two.
Okay, and then the feature race of the day, the Chelmsford Stakes, also over a mile. Big team of runners. Metal Bender, top weight.
Yeah, great run first up, and getting close to his best fitness now, and it's just one run at a time with him, and everything's a bonus basically. So yeah, it'll be nice to see him greet the judge in the first position again. Just an amazing horse. That first up run was terrific, so if he can replicate that, it's going to be very competitive.
Beaten up, you've opted to keep him here as opposed to sending him down to Flemington.
Yeah, he's drawn wide in both places, and I was hoping he would draw a little bit better and go with that option, but as he's drawn wide in both, we've decided to keep him in Sydney. There's no rush to get him to Melbourne. He's not an easy horse to train, and I just want to make sure everything's 100% before we do go down there. So yeah, Randwick's the race of choice, and 2 weeks time he'll probably step up to 1800, which would be the Underwood in Melbourne, providing he's heading in the right direction. But looks well placed on Saturday, providing he can get cover, and it's a pretty handy horse, Haylie.
Yeah. Kalini, also a handy horse.
Yeah, he's turned into a genuine stayer now, so lost a bit of that dash. Mile at Randwick will suit, but we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. He's simply set for the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups, and that's when he'll be peaking, and that's just the distances that he'll appreciate. So it's just one run at a time, building that fitness, and hopefully he could just run an encouraging race to say that we're on track.
Okay, and fellow import Moriarty.
Similar again to Kalini. He's got a little bit one-paced. He's set for the Metropolitan, and he'll step up to 2,000 metres after this Saturday, and he was probably the softest of the boys from the Warwick Stakes, but he's fitted up well and he'll run a nice race. But again, just want to see him showing something to suggest we are on track for those races, which I'm sure he will be.
Okay, Ria?
He's a horse we don't know a lot about, and we're excited about him heading towards the spring, and more importantly the autumn, where I think he'll fully mature and be ready for a full Australian campaign. So at this time we're just taking one run at a time, and I think he'll certainly get up to 2,000 metres at his next start, and from there we'll work out whether we're on track for a Caulfield Cup or similar races. But he's a very handy horse. His first up run was terrific, and don't read into anything about him having 5 weeks between runs. It was simply what we chose to do, and I think this race suits him well, as will Randwick, and I'm interested to see how he finishes his race off.
Finally, in the Chelmsford, we've got Hawkspur.
Yeah, good run first up. He's another one with that X factor. He could really improve again as a 4-year-old, which is what we're hoping, heading towards Caulfield Cup, which is his first target race. There's a lot to like about his first up run. Mile will suit him a little bit better, and good draw, so a few things in his favour, and Jim Cassidy's very bullish about the way he's come back.
Brilliant. And finally, over 1,200 metres, we've got Heart Tester, Jade Marauder and Field Marshal all lining up.
Yeah, 3 very handy horses, all hopefully going to take the next step to group racing shortly this preparation. Start with Field Marshal. He's in with a very nice weight, come off an impressive win last start, admittedly in easier company, so it's another test for him on Saturday. And Heart Tester, he's trialled very well, in particular his first trial. He's a fit horse, and I think likes 1,200 metres and runs well fresh, and Jason Collett certainly knows how to get the best out of him. And Jade Marauder, she's come back from a good spell, which I think she's done well in, trialled very well, and she looks like she's ready to go. So taking on the boys, but she's a Group 2 winner in her own right, so certainly knows how to win a race or two.
Brilliant. This morning, Chris, when I was typing up our reports, you mentioned that you stay at Canterbury, it was a leaderish track, and I did actually have an owner ask me what that sort of meant, you stay at the races, and I bumbled my way through it, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk to you a little bit about that.
It's a hard one to explain. Obviously the length of the straight has got a big impact. Canterbury's basically got a 300 metre straight, so they tend to build momentum from the 500 metre mark, and the leaders get rolling. The back markers are sort of scrambling their way around the tight turn, and all of a sudden the leaders will put 2 lengths on them and they're gone. So the back markers are having to do more to chase. The front ones haven't really spent a lot of money, a lot of petrol to sort of get there. They've got a tank full of gas, so to speak. And then there's so many other indicators. It's tempo related. Yesterday there was even a bit of wind. I'm not sure which direction, but to my opinion it was sort of a headwind from the 800 to the 400, so it probably makes a jockey think he's going a bit faster than he is when you can consider the wind and the noise coming at you in comparison to no wind or a tailwind. So just little things like that. Obviously the way the track's prepared, they don't go and water it on the inside or the outside any different, but it depends when they last raced on there, how much where the track's been getting. There's so many little variables, and I think the more we look into it, the more confused we get. So it's a tough one, but unfortunately at Canterbury, you only see it probably 4 times a year, where it is just very, very leaderish, and the form out of the meeting's never really much good. And it suits a certain type of horse, and I think our horses are generally horses that like to get back and finish off rather than being hard up on the pace. So for us to change our tactics can also upset the horse, and I'm not into that. It's all about the big picture, and over the length of the season, track bias fortunately doesn't have too much of an impact.
Thanks, Chris. You learn something new every day.
I bumbled my way through that too.
Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Haylie.